Today I heard something brilliant. From about the last person I expected, actually. I was stunned and moved. And I'd like everyone to see this and stand tall. And that's because you're probably as sick as I am of all this trashing we're seeing of this country, like the tearing down of our statues, like the Prime Minister flying now 3 flags. That's the sign of a divided nation. Or the government-funded attacks on our Western heritage, or the demands that we destroy this supposedly evil colonisation, and the cringing self-hatred of politicians apologising for sins more often imagined than real.
Governments of all persuasions have failed Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
And for example, the rubbishing this week by both sides of politics, actually, of a genuine Australian hero. I talked about that earlier this week, how the Prime Minister and Indigenous Australians Minister both accused matron Ruby May Hyde, a Christian missionary, long dead now, of supposedly being mean to an Aboriginal girl in her charge, and even implicating her in supposed child stealing, the stolen generations. In fact, these lazy, comfortable, complacent, know-nothing critics were wrong. I cited evidence and eyewitnesses who said Sister Hyde gave her life and her love to save the abandoned Aboriginal children who had been dumped on her, helping children like the late Lowicha O'Donoghue when no one else would, out of Christian charity. But as I said on this show after we last year voted against, thank God, Labor's voice, I am going to concentrate this year on finding those things that unite us and inspire us, build pride again, that prove this country is nothing like what our elites stupidly insist. It's racist, it's cruel, it's a rancid construct of evil colonialism. And today, what a wonderful surprise, a tribute to Australia. In fact, a tribute to colonialism, would you believe, and missionaries, like Sister Hyde. Missionaries as well, from Papua New Guinea's Prime Minister James Marape, giving a speech today in our Parliament and actually reminding us of the values and the great Australian character I think we're losing. Now listen to this, you won't hear it from our Prime Minister, praising what Australia gave to PNG when we were its colonial masters. It turns out that colonialism can actually be a powerful good to a country suffering from lawlessness, a country that's dirt poor and tribal. Does that ring any bells?
But the greatest and most profound Australian rule impact of the Australian administration is the democracy you left with us. Our constitution, our democratic system of government, our judiciary, the public service, the education system, our financial and banking system, and our Christian worldview is what you left in PNG. You see me standing here speaking in English. I learned that through the school system you set up. The God I worship today, the Christian God, is the God your missionaries brought into Papua New Guinea. The imprint of Australia is second to none in Papua New Guinea. Your legacies live on.
Now, of course, the political news in this speech was that Marape gave a very big hint that we should stop worrying about reports that he's talking about making deals with China, which could actually spell real trouble for us. He made clear that in the end, this shared culture that we have with his country, thanks to colonialism, makes us family, and China isn't.
In a world of many relations with many nations, nothing will come in between our two countries because we are family. Through tears, blood, pain, and sacrifice that are now anchored in our eternal past, our nations are constructed today.
But me, I was struck and, like I say, moved by the praise that he gave to Australia and our colonial past, a sort of praise that Labor and the Greens never would. They'd choke to praise colonialism in Papua New Guinea or in Australia, since colonialists also gave Aborigines the same things that Marape was talking about: democracy, law and order, rule of law, development, Christianity, and that passport that is the English language. I mean, National Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price has talked brilliantly about this. Oh, the controversy, but Labor won't. But the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea did something else. He reminded us of the kind of Australians who delivered all those gifts to Papua New Guinea, people that actually had the same kind of character as Matron Hyde. He praised the special constables that we sent to PNG, who acted as a kind of cross between police and peacemakers and magistrates and even social workers at times. These are officers popularly called Kiaps.
This special breed of men patrol my country well into its interior in the 1950s and 60s after the war, many of them losing their lives from the challenges of that occupation. It is on this note I want to acknowledge a couple of special surviving Kiaps who are still here with us, 3 of them in this precinct, in the public galleries. Graham Watts, who served in Rabaul, Bill Sanders, who served in Chimbu, John and Morag Hognall, who are present in the public gallery. I just want to appreciate them. They represent the fair dinkum spirit of Aussies.
Absolutely. And Marape singled out this couple who had their first child out in the jungles of PNG, far from modern health facilities. That is duty. In fact, I read a brilliant summary about the kind of men that we did send over to PNG, and I hope still have somewhere here in this country, although I almost never hear them celebrated. It was from Chris Overland, who was a Kiap himself in the 1970s. And he said it was a culture with the Kiaps that valued intelligence, a sense of adventure, physical and psychological resilience, none of this victim stuff, stoicism and courage, or at least no tendency to panic in the face of adversity, and a strong orientation towards doing whatever it took to get a job done. None of this, oh, you can't ring me after 5 o'clock, boss. These are men and women of our heroic past. These are people who brought the gifts of Western culture to Papua New Guinea, just like earlier generations gave it to Australia. Now, the leader of Papua New Guinea today in our own parliament praised them. And I think we should now expect and even demand that our own politicians learn to praise them too.